Hey everyone, don't respond to weirdos here. The internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Ed Sheeran album, Equals. This is a brand new LP from the man himself, UK singer and songwriter, Mr. Ed Sheeran. And this is his latest in his series of mathematically titled studio albums. Ed's pretty world famous at this point. I think he needs no introduction, and it's also no secret that I've not been the biggest fan of his stuff up until this point, and I didn't exactly go into this new LP with super high hopes, especially with the teasers being so derivative, but I will say a couple of things. First, stylistically, it does seem like Ed is kind of picking up where he left off on his last record, Divide, where variety was kind of the name of the game. Sure, there are some pretty bare ballads in the track list on this record, but there are also cuts that are indebted to dance pop, R&B. Secondly, I think this record has a pretty strong start to it, a song that lyrically sets the tone for the entire project too. Of course, I'm talking about the song Tides, which is a driving rock cut with blaring guitars and tender choruses, plus loads of lyrics about how Ed's perspective has changed since becoming a father and a husband, and he's now looking forward to what's to come and better days. It's a very hopeful and aspirational track. And while it is safe, there is a sincerity to it that I like a lot. However, there is one line on the track that really stuck out to me. I lost the confidence in who I was, too busy trying to chase the high and get the numbers up. And like, what time exactly are we referring to here? What is the time frame in which Ed was doing this? Is it now? Is it present day? Because chasing the high and getting the numbers up and aping a bunch of trendy sounds and popular music in a painfully impersonal way is exactly what this record does. What is the song Shivers if not exactly that? It's a plucky and bland piece of dance pop with loads of fancy instrumentation, flirty, romantic, and cloying lyrics as well, wanting to kiss your eyes and drink that smile. Kind of feels like another attempt at a track that might hit in the same way Shape of You did. Then there's the glitzy and soaring Bad Habits, which when I first heard it, I thought was the most desperate attempt at hopping on this very moody nocturnal pop wave a la The Weeknd. That was until I heard the track Overpass Graffiti, which is even more indebted to this 80s revivalism wave right now. I feel like I'm listening to the literal backing beat to Aha's Take on Me, but just a different song's been thrown on top of it, which I guess in a way is fine. There's nothing wrong in general with some musical nostalgia, but Ed is doing it in a way where he's just stripping all the fun out of doing a throwback track. Where's the melodrama? Where are the fun, bubbly synths or anything like that? I mean, again, it does have a bit of an 80s new wave backbone, but everything on top of that is just a pure millennial pop slop. Around the halfway point of the LP, even the instrumentals start to take a nosedive. For example, Leave Your Life, I think, has one of the most touching sentiments on the entire LP, but Lord, does this beat sound cheap. Where did the beats and beatboxing perks and bedroom synths on this track come from? The whole thing sounds the way that eating boiled pasta straight out of the strainer tastes. Then there's similar issues on the track Collide. Where did the perks on this one come from? Banging on a desk and capturing it on a laptop mic? Plus the Enya-ass synths flying in every direction on the hook. I'm not into it. Now, I do like the lyrical angle of the track. I think it's pretty cute how Ed goes through all of these things that him and his wife have been through, going to the hospital with broken bones, going to an Irish bar in Rome. Again, it's quaint, it's fine, but then Ed hits us with the line, shared a toothbrush and shared a home? Edward, no. Look, I'm no prude, but this is a little too freaky for me. You're in love, and that's fine, and I get that, but you're swapping the instrument that you use to, like, you know, dig old food particles from like in your teeth. You're sharing that. The mastering on the song Two Step is kind of awful, even though I slightly get it. This is one where Ed goes a little hip hop. Rapping Ed is back on this one with some of those tight, speedy flows, and of course that sub bass is just roaring to the point where it's almost clipping and just drowning out everything else in the mix. But the biggest instrumental shock on this LP comes in the form of the song Sandman, which honest to God sounds like a cutesy instrumental bed that you would hear underneath an instructional video on YouTube. I guess there's something intentionally childlike about it given that the song is a tribute to his daughter, but the instrumental is so infantile in the most obvious and marketable way, like that royalty-free ukulele and glockenspiel instrumental we've all heard a million times on this platform is more intricate. With Stop the Rain, Ed does his best vocally to pull off some Michael Jackson-style riffs. He does get closer than I expected, but ultimately only ends up sounding like a few shades away from Corey Feldman doing his best Michael Jackson impersonation. Now look, there are some more stripped back tracks in the track list that I thought were a lot more appealing. The guitar and piano combo on First Times is quite nice. Sure, the track is packed with more overly sentimental lyrics, but at least it's cute. Once again, there is something about Ed's sincerity that helps him overcome some of the aesthetic and compositional shortcomings of his writing. Get ready to hear this song at a wedding or two over the next year. Then there's the Joker and the Queen, a real Sigma anthem on this one. You could fall for 1,000 kings. When I fold, you see the best in me, the Joker and the Queen. The track does sound like a bit much with all the, Disney soundtrack strings wailing away in the background, but I actually do think the song features a strong tune, some pretty clever writing as well with all the allusions to card playing. Plus, the seeing the best in me line does tie in really well to the whole Joker thing, considering the role the Joker would play in a round of poker. Then there's Visiting Hours, where Ed is seen flirting with a bit of country music, and lyrically this track kills me. I love it. It may in fact be my most favorite Ed Sheeran song ever, by a long shot. I wish that heaven had visiting hours and, tell you the news, and we're talking about all the things that you're missing since he passed. It's honestly just a beautiful feeling. Plus, the grand rushes of vocal harmonies on the track make for some of the most beautiful moments on the entire project, too. It's just a really pretty song with a simple and beautiful sentiment. Yeah, it does have almost like a Hallmark card kind of vibe to it, but, every once in a while, those do bang. There is a context in which that kind of works, makes sense, has a point, and I do think there are spots on this LP where Ed hits that nail on the head. But those are rare moments on this project. The vast majority of the time, what Equals does is just do a piss-poor job of presenting a mediocre singer-songwriter album as a pop album. And look, I get there's a huge market out there for Ed's pop tracks, there's no denying that. It's just a little aggravating knowing that Ed can't get any of his pop songs across without blatantly ripping off a superior song or artist in the process. It would be one thing if I felt like Ed's tunes were bringing something wild and new and innovative, or even flavorful to pop music, but I just don't think it is. I'm feeling a strong 2 to a light 3 on this one. Tran. Zishin, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you could check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Ed Sheeran, forever.